There might be an overlap. I don't know. You procrastinate?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to come on up? Ken volunteered to be a subject for exploring decision strategies, so I thought we'd start with that. And then Masuda came up and was suggesting, how about procrastination? And you liked that one, so we'll play a little bit with decisions and then play with procrastination. No, you have the opposite problem. You see, you need to learn this one.
Go ahead and put off learning it for a while, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put off learning it for a while.
Okay, so imagine you're in a restaurant and some waiter hands you the menu. How do you go about deciding?
I look for the 99-cent menu.
Okay, 99-cent menu. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. So
We have them at Whopperville.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh okay. There's actually a 99.
Burger King. Yeah.
Oh okay.
McDonald's has it all the time.
Oh, see?
Okay. Okay. So you pre-qualify by price, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now let me just comment as we go along, because this is like a real short piece of a 4-day seminar. Okay. Now, when you pre-qualify, it simplifies your life. I mentioned this a little bit yesterday, that if you have a definite qualification, I don't want to spend more than 99 cents, you have essentially a digital criterion. I will not go over the 99 cents, or $5 or whatever it is. And then you can immediately eliminate everything that's above that. Okay? That's great. It's a great way to simplify your task. Okay? Great.
I have a target that's like $3.85 to buy everything I'm going to eat, but I'm willing to go up to $5 if they don't have a cheap seat meal.
Okay, I see. So I'm not familiar with this menu. So it's 99 cents each, and then you collect different things. Is that it?
Pretty much.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you have a pre-qualification of $3.85 to $5. Anything in there over 5 is out, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, great. Maybe unless there was some fantastic Chateaubriand or something like that.
Or if I had an excessive amount of money, but that's usually spent on something else.
Okay, good. Okay. So you immediately go down to the 99-cent category. You eliminate the rest, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me think. If it has ketchup, it's automatically good enough.
Okay.
But sometimes it might be like McNuggets or something. It might be something that doesn't have ketchup. So if it doesn't, then I decide if it will go with ketchup. So I can add my own.
Okay. So ketchup is a key criterion. Okay.
That's a special sauce.
Let me think. And then I said how long it's going to take
Okay. How long will it take to prepare the pieces?
for me to get it.
Okay. How
So
long
no
will it
matter
take to be served?
Yeah, so no matter how cheap it is or whatever, I decide if it has to come quickly,
Okay.
or they have to have something that does
That does.
come quickly. So if it's going to be hash browns and it's going to be 8 minutes or something outrageous like that, then I need a piece of pie and coffee.
To tide you over?
Yes.
And keep you going. Okay, well, different strokes. I wouldn't want to eat this way. But whatever works. Okay, but see, he's got clear criteria. That's the great thing. You might argue with the criteria, I might argue with the criteria, but whatever, they're his. That's what he wants to have. He wants to eat relatively quickly, and he doesn't want to have to wait. So fast food is definitely what he needs, right? Fast food. Okay? So you have a number of criteria. Now let's say that you have several choices. How do you utilize these criteria when you're making the choice? I want to make a distinction between pre-screening, where you can use a digital criterion to automatically eliminate a bunch of stuff, and then he's got several criteria. He's got ketchup, he's got how long will it take, there's something else in there.
Can we get something else in the meantime?
Can you get something else in the meantime if it's going to take longer, so that's another time criteria. How do you utilize these criteria to make a final decision?
I'll be recent. Today the lady said it was $5.05 and it was going to take 20 minutes, but we could have salad in the meantime.
Okay.
I didn't even look. That was good enough for me.
You didn't even
I could have had anything on the menu, but that was good enough.
So she didn't even tell you what you were going to get?
Well, she said you have to have a one topping pizza, and it'll be the personal pan one. And she told me the criteria, and it was all good enough. I knew it had tomato paste on it.
Okay.
So that covered the ketchup's criteria. It was at $5.
Okay.
And I could have salad while I waited.
You know, we're laughing, but we all do stuff like this, and it's just as crazy.
It was easy, wasn't it? It was easy. And today I wanted something salty, so I put green olives on it for the topping, so I could have salty.
Okay. Now, notice most of his criteria are digital. They're either they qualify or they don't. Now, many of us would have criteria that are more analog. That I want a pizza with more things on it, or it has to have a certain quality, or something like that. His is ketchup, no ketchup. Quick, no quick. They're very digital, right? Now, that's a good way. That's a good way to make quick decisions. Didn't take you long, right?
As soon as she told me, I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
That'll
I'm
work.
satisfied.
Put green olives on it.
Okay. Now, I wouldn't want to use this kind of criteria for choosing a spouse.
That was fast too. Oh my goodness.
Now, do you have anything to say about that? Yeah, ketchup.
Is there something I can have quick while I wait?
Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. Don't ever show your wife this video.
What's the price range?
She paid me about $800. Yeah, that was almost instant also.
Okay,
Yeah.
very quick.
So,
Now-
and I bought my car that way too.
Okay,
It had to be a Subaru. It
Okay.
had to be reasonably new. It had to have air conditioning and a tape cassette,
okay,
and that was good enough.
yeah,
And I had to be able to pay for it.
right. Okay, great. And again, very digital. If it qualifies, it qualifies. There's no, well, let's see, this stereo is better than this stereo would cost another $100 or any of that stuff. Very quick, just if it qualifies, which is like you have your criteria set up very clearly ahead of time. And then if something qualifies, bing, you got it. Okay, question?
Yes, I understand your criteria, but is there a process that you go? I mean, how did you arrive at Subaru? How did you arrive at
Yeah.
the three main things that you arrived at? I can understand where the buying decision.
Excellent question.
You got down to that process and you said, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that, I want just this, and simplified it.
Yeah.
But how did you decide on Subaru?
When I was a little kid, we were playing at a park, and I saw a car going up the side of the hill, and another kid goes, "Hey, that's my dad. That's his new Subaru station wagon." So I knew I wanted the Subaru station wagon, and I've had quite a few of them. And that's my link to Subarus.
Wow. So you've always had a Subaru,
So you didn't,
Pretty much. Or if I didn't have one, I wanted one.
and you never thought in terms of a Volvo.
Oh, no.
So like ketchup and mustard, or
Now, notice how digital his answers are, too. It's not no, it's no.
So it is very digital.
Yeah.
It's very absolute.
Yeah, right.
Is he in
Now-
have you had any engineering background or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Now, your question is a great one, because he's doing a lot of his deciding ahead of time. Much as you did with what you're going to do the next day. You make the decision ahead of time, and then just something fires it off. Oh, my old car died. Oh, time to get a new Subaru. And it's like already set up, pre-decision. And pre-decision is very fast. It's very effective. It's very as long as you do a good job ahead of time, it will satisfy you. Now, I don't know if as hearing somebody say, that's my dad and he's got his new Subaru wagon, is the best way to decide on a Subaru. I happen to like Subarus. I think they're good cars. But I would think it might be useful to look into, repair records and gas mileage and some of those things. Did you do any of that?
No.
Okay.
No, I saw this. I saw it. Oh, I did say I wanted a white one because I'd seen one somewhere.
Okay.
So,
So he's operating off a lot of visual memory.
What about the wife?
That was my question.
as far as did she like my Subaru or
No,
how
how did you select the wife?
I saw her and I thought I think I'd like to marry her. And so we began to date about 2 weeks later, and then as soon as it was convenient, we got married. I had to borrow $10 to pay the preacher. We went to the Salvation Army, and they married us and let us use there as long as we mopped up when we were done.
You mopped up.
Typical though, because now I'm
What
getting
is it?
scared.
What?
Because I get up so quick, and I decide the day before, and so I'm seeing a pattern here.
Well, separate out the two things. One is the pattern of making a decision ahead of time, and cueing. It's like a post-hypnotic suggestion. Then, when the time comes, you just decide. You just fire it off. But that's one process that you share. What's different, I think, is that you go through a more involved process in making the decision. He seems to fire off a lot on memories and sort of chance events. Now, he's also satisfied with relatively little. Ketchup and gold McNuggets and stuff like that. And in other words, he's totally satisfied with, as long as it meets a certain criteria. And there's been some recent research that shows that people who have this kind of process are happier than people who go through a long, involved decision to get the very best stereo. And they get actually a better product at the end, but they're less satisfied with it.
I have friends like that.
Okay.
It will drive you nuts. They will do endless research on everything.
Yeah.
The mixer, the car, it has to be the best.
Right.
And then they're satisfied.
Just the right color and all this stuff. It's very, very high
But I
criteria.
always thought it was a superiority kind of thing. I mean, they felt like they had gone through
Well,
this entire
it could be.
process in order to be smugly satisfied.
So they're taking the
That
best.
can be,
So there's one
Be
the
better
best.
than everybody else.
yeah.
Well, their way of processing
Superior.
it is better than anybody
Yeah.
else.
So they can
No.
say it's the best.
Yes, and they know.
Yeah, I know.
And they can
And they may tell you about it over and over again.
And this and this and this, and we got the best price because we
Okay.
went to these 12 places.
Now, let me contextualize this a little bit, though, because often it's contextual. For instance, for me, and it's not necessarily telling other people and being smug and so on and telling other people. Sometimes it's just that different people respond more. Different things are important to different people. Now, for me, my surroundings are very important. So I have spent a lot of money getting a place that's got 90 acres around it, and I don't have neighbors right by, no barking dogs and all that, and I have beautiful country around me. To me, that's very, very important. I don't know if you've seen the old Volvo wagon out here that I've got that I paid $1,700 for 5 or 6 years ago, and it's a beater. I mean, you know, the speakers are falling out of the doors, and the dashboard is all cracked, and I haven't cleaned it in months. For me, that doesn't matter. If it runs and it gets me there, I'm totally satisfied with that.
I used to drive that car.
Did you? Okay. That particular one?
Well, mine was cream.
Oh, okay.
Cream color. But the same.
So, it's not necessarily that someone makes all decisions in the same way or the same kind of criteria. And for me, I don't care if nobody knows where I live. I like to mention it just because it's an example of what's important to me, and I'm willing to drive a beater. Almost all our furniture comes from yard sales, and luckily my wife is satisfied with that. And she's total. And I love the fact that I got this shirt for 50 cents at a yard sale. Other people would be scandalized, why, using somebody else's clothing, and different people have different values. So the criteria are separate from the process of deciding, and the process of deciding ahead of time and then just firing off a decision is separate from how you made the original decision. So making a decision, you can utilize your criteria, whatever they are, and then it fires off later. That's great. Then you can decide very quickly.
Does he ever feel like he's made the wrong decision?
Well, to use the car and the wife, I wanted to marry a redhead, and I found out later as her hair began to grow, she had brown hair. But that worked out. And I also, on my car, I wanted to pay under $460 a month, but it hadn't occurred to me I could have got the same, I could have bought this car for $280 a month. It's just the guy said, how much you want to pay? I said, under $460, so it's $458.12. See how, so there's a lot of room for error. I could have paid much less if I had said, the most I want to pay is $250. It would have been a much cheaper car. The same car, they'll make your payments fit whatever it needs to. And it's easy to get, tricked a little bit. but then you'll make the wrong decision no matter how